Hi everyone, this is Lao Wan reporting for 华尔街前线. Today we'll be talking about John Cena, Chinese propaganda, and the trolls and their memes. So recently, John Cena appeared at the Oscars in a nude suit to present the award for Best Costuming. The man is a meme, but also literally, John Cena is a meme. That intersects with China's efforts to control media in and outside the country, a particularly silly aspect of China and America's current geopolitical conflict. The WWE, that's World Wrestling Entertainment, has been trying to take over the world. Its expansionist ambitions perhaps only outmatched by the People's Republic of China. And I think it might be fitting to start with this clip.
天上太陽紅呀紅彤彤嘞，心中的太陽是毛澤東嘞，他領導我們的解放嘞，真的拜神當家做主人，咿呀咿自由呀呀自由啊，真的拜神當家做主人。
That was John Cena, an AI-generated version, singing 天上太陽紅彤彤. But let's zoom all the way back. Let's start in 2016 when the WWE began to more actively promote its content with Mandarin voiceover and subtitles on Chinese social media platforms. These are platforms like Youku, Tudou, Weibo, and WeChat. Given that many of these platforms' American equivalents, that's YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, are blocked by China's Great Firewall, this represented a massive breakthrough of the WWE into the Chinese market. The WWE's conquest of the world is not limited to China. Its expansion is focused on entering the American movie market too. It's produced alumni who have broken through into massive Hollywood blockbusters like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, or Ju Shi Qiangsen as he's known in China, who has been a regular in Hollywood action comedies since 2002 in The Scorpion King. The Rock has consistently been in more than 2 movies a year since 2013. Dave Bautista is another WWE alum who has broken into the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Drax the Destroyer, a Guardian of the Galaxy. Bautista has also recently played roles in the more highbrow sci-fi epics Blade Runner 2049 and most recently in Denis Villeneuve's Dune series. We mustn't also forget that there's a WWE alum running for president. This is to say that American popular media and culture in general is increasingly populated with former pro wrestlers. At the same time, American films are also increasingly catering to a Chinese audience. A notable example is the Transformers franchise, where the 2018 installment Bumblebee grossed $170 million in the Chinese box office, outperforming the film's reception in the US and Canada combined. Enter John Cena, one of the WWE's biggest stars, who has managed a similar breakthrough into films and television. This is my personal opinion, but I do think that Cena's performance as Peacemaker in the series of the same name is the most redeeming part of the DC cinematic universe since Christopher Nolan's Batman movies. He manages to play like a sort of silly but misunderstood and lonely anti-hero that simultaneously pokes fun at the extremism of American patriotism, while also showing a sympathetic side of the disillusionment and isolation of Cena's Peacemaker character. Of the wrestlers turned actors, John Cena is by far the most actively involved in the WWE. Although The Rock made his first appearance in the WWE ring in a decade in early February, Cena has appeared at multiple WWE events throughout 2023, including a September 2023 SmackDown appearance in India, a showing in London in July 2023, and actually wrestling in WrestleMania 39, hosted in Austin in April. As one of the WWE's biggest stars, Cena was also one of the enterprise's ambassadors to China in its expansion effort in 2016. There, at a press briefing in Shanghai in June, Cena spoke to the press in almost perfectly fluent Chinese. So that's where the trolls and their memes come in. In May 2016, Twitter user at Kuru Susan Agfly tweeted John Cena. Irreverent pictures of Cena photoshopped to look like Mao Zedong also began circulating on the internet. To be fair, this meme format did actually originate in China. In 2008, a graphic designer, Liu Mingji, used US President Obama's campaign poster superimposed on Mao Zedong's military uniform and screen printed a line of t-shirts with the caption, 为人民服务, or in service of the people. The image on the t-shirts quickly became known as 奥巴毛. To clarify, this was not seen as an overt political statement in China at the time. It wasn't really intended to play into the narratives that US Republicans were pushing when they called Obama a communist or a socialist while he was in office. It seems mainly a celebration of Obama's election as America's first black president, as well as a tongue-in-cheek pastiche in comparison to China's own game-changing leader. The Chinese authorities didn't view it as a threat or challenge to the state, so the sale of Obama merchandise was permitted until all the Obama merchandise was taken off the street by the Industry and Commerce Bureau. This was during Obama's visit to Beijing in November of 2009. Here's a key thing to know about Chinese state control as it's practiced around things like irreverent merch and meme culture. When it clamps down on the sale or dissemination of things that don't directly challenge the state, it doesn't often explain why. Did China do it because they didn't want Obama to have to confront an improper and irreverent portrayal? Did they not want Obama to see that there was widespread and generally positive, if a little silly, awareness of him in China? There is a sense that the state has a sense of propriety, and all the 奥巴毛 merch just won't do. It's a known law in the meme world that things, no matter how well-intentioned, will gradually devolve towards racism and xenophobia. 奥巴毛, which started as a silly Chinese t-shirt, soon got adopted by the Republicans and Tea Party backlash to the Obama administration. The image of Obama as Mao was too striking and too close to the Tea Party's accusations that Obama was a communist. It also got rolled up into the birth conspiracy theory. This was a racist and Islamophobic campaign that accused Obama of secretly being a Muslim who was born in Kenya. Just so we're all clear, there should be nothing wrong with having a Muslim president. Also, Obama was not Muslim. Also, there's no need to be Islamophobic to prove the president that you support wasn't a Muslim. Also, Obama was a war criminal who bombed civilians in Yemen, radicalizing much of the Yemeni population and plunging it into a civil war, which it still hasn't recovered from. But we're getting distracted. Let's get back to John Cena. John Cena leaned in and actually adopted Zhao Xina as his Chinese name. It fit his public persona as a goofy wrestler turned actor and was likely a tongue-in-cheek acknowledgement of the meme. However, the Xina meme started really gaining traction in 2021 when John Cena issued an apology to the people of China for, quote, mistakenly saying that Taiwan was a country. Here's the clip.
你好，中国，这是赵西娜。我必須說，現在，在速度與激情中，我做很多採訪，很多，所以在一個採訪，我有一個錯誤，所有人問我，如果我可以用中文，速度與激情中人給我很多資訊 information。所以很多採訪，很多 information，我有一個錯誤，我必須說現在就是很重要，我愛更尊重中國跟中國人，我很抱歉對我的錯誤，對不起，我很抱歉，你必須了解，我很愛，很尊重中國跟中國人，不好意思。
And you know what? His Mandarin was pretty good. But now the memes gained a new meaning, implying that Cena was a shill or an apologist for the Chinese government. Captions under the meme started making fun of Cena's social credit score. What happened to prompt Cena's apology video is unclear. In the video, Cena of course implies that the apology came of his own volition. But commenters on YouTube under the video all suspect that he was pressured into making the apology by the Chinese state. So then here's a weird question. Does John Cena apologizing to China for mistakenly calling Taiwan a country count as Chinese propaganda? Until recently, China was a strange place for American movies. China only screens 34 foreign movies a year. That's all foreign movies. So American movies compete against Bollywood, Korea, British films, etc. A loophole around this is if the movie uses a Chinese production company. This is why several of the Transformers movies have scenes in China, and why the Transformers movie Bumblebee used Tencent Pictures, a Chinese production company. With more and more stars like John Cena gaining a following in China, the state is clearly aware of the influence of these celebrities, especially the influence they have on the Chinese population. These celebrities also sort of fall outside of the state's control over what is considered acceptable speech. For example, if Dwayne 巨石强森 Johnson at a press event tomorrow decided to talk about sensitive topics like Tiananmen Square or Xinjiang, Taiwan, Tibet, the Chinese state is aware that it has no direct power to silence him, and that his massive fan base in China would see his support for anti-state causes. The Chinese state solution is to leverage access to Chinese markets. This happened in 2019, at the height of the student protests in Hong Kong. Daryl Morey, an executive of the Houston Rockets, tweeted an image in support of the protests in Hong Kong. For China, this seemed like a high-stakes moment. The Rockets are one of the most popular teams in China, largely because of Yao Ming, who played for Houston for almost a decade. Basketball is incredibly popular in China. According to data from 2020, 625 million Chinese people consider themselves fans of the sport. That's almost double the entire population of the US. In response to Murray's tweet, the Chinese state took NBA games off the air. Chinese fans likely continued to watch NBA games by pirating them, but that still meant a massive loss of revenue to the NBA. It was only in 2022 that China's state-owned media company, China Central Television, that's CCTV, began to broadcast games again. The message was clear. If you are a foreign celebrity or an athlete with a significant following in China, do not refer to the, quote, sensitive issues here, or the Chinese government will close the Chinese market to you. Which is why John Cena's case is quite interesting. Cena continues to star in movies and WWE events in China, but the apology video has made him and the Chinese government the butt of jokes in America. In the Jiang Xina memes, Cena is the comically muscle-bound archetype of a loyal Chinese apparatchik. In the eyes of Americans, the apology reinforces their vision of China as an authoritarian and domineering regime governed by an autocrat. Strangely, Cena's apology video did not make a big impact in China. On Weibo, China's microblogging platform similar to Twitter, Cena's apology didn't go anywhere near as viral as it did on American social media. This is partly because Cena, with 589,000 followers on Weibo, is still a smaller name in China than other foreign stars like, say, The Rock, with over 4 million followers, Justin Bieber with roughly 3.5 million, and Tom Cruise, who has 5.3 million followers even though he's not really posted anything in almost 3 years. The apology video received far more attention in Western media, getting picked up by major media outlets and then parodied by The Stephen Colbert Show. Perhaps this was intentional. Cena's apology may not have actually been meant for the Chinese netizens, but rather to make an example of Cena for other foreign celebrities to be aware of the rules around developing a following in the Chinese market. When memes started appearing referring to Cena's social credit score and portraying Cena's face superimposed on Mao's body, it became clear that in the eyes of Western memers, Cena and China's tight-fisted control over language used about Taiwan was laughable. John Cena is also no stranger to being the butt of the joke. His signature move in his wrestling career was to wave his hand in front of his face and say, "You can't see me." This soon became a meme online, as netizens pretended that they literally could not see the 250-pound pro wrestler. Cena then played into the meme, releasing interviews while discussing his struggles with invisibility. This is all to say that it's entirely unclear how seriously John Cena takes himself, or perhaps takes the persona that he occupies inside the wrestling ring and during press events. It's also unclear if Cena was pressured into making his apology video, but if China did pressure Cena, they chose a poor frontman to take on the role of a contrite foreigner. Cena has been the butt of jokes for well over 2 decades now, with memes about him dating back to 2002. He often plays into those memes and actively leans into his persona as a silly, goofy dude. It also speaks to the friendlier nature of a bygone era of Chinese-American competition, when a wrestler and a meme was in the middle of the two countries' conflict. Increasingly, the talk about China and America is turning to militarism and Cold War era rhetoric. So what do you guys think? Has America lost John Cena to China? Is Zhao Xina his final incarnation? What would Chairman Mao say? All I can say is that the sun in the sky is red and the sun in my heart is Mao Zedong. What a banger. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been Lao Wan reporting on memes for 华尔街前线. Please like and subscribe.